just to let you guys know, if you are interested in a cart like this, I'm gonna sell this one. Well, hey everybody, it's Sunday today, and I'm getting the yard cleaned up before Monday so we can get rolling with trucks. Kind of been a on again, off again week. Trying to do some hauling. Get shut down all the time. Trains don't show up on time for the elevator, so we want to get some wheat hauled in. We got a basis contract on that, so I'd like to get that hauled in. I think we got 90,000 to 90 semi-loads. So yeah, it blew and blew all week and snowed and carried on, and it was down to, I think, the wind chill 20 below last night. I didn't do any cleaning last week because the wind just keeps blowing it in. Just talking from experience. I go in here and clean it all up. 2 days later, the wind turns to the south and blows it across the field back into the yard. So we're really protected to the northwest, the north, the east, and west, but we are open to the south, which we like, especially in the summer. Hot, humid days, nice to get that southern breeze through the yard. Keeps the bugs away, all that stuff. But seems like we get plenty of south winds. So what I do is I take the plow pickup, and I go around the buildings, and then I plow it out away from the buildings. Same thing with the bin site, go around, plow it out. And then there's just, you know, some nooks and crannies here to clean up with the tractor. So we're gonna go do that now. I've had the tractor plugged in all weekend. I started it up, I let it run for probably, it's probably been running for half an hour. I even got the grain cart cleaned up the other day after we got that wheel fixed, or that bearing. Just to let you guys know, if you are interested in a cart like this, I'm gonna sell this one. It's in good shape. If you guys are interested in a 2096 cart, just message and we'll get back to you with a price and how we can get it to you if you're interested in it. It never sits outside, but we're running out of room this year, so it was in the shop for most of the time, and then we just backed it out here. So, but that's why it is it's still shiny, because we don't let it sit outside. There's our homemade pusher here. It's a 3-point box blade, and I put brackets on the backside for the auger, or for the loader. I think it's 12 feet. Well, it's starting to heat up in here anyway. It's nice and warm. I don't know, for all you guys that don't have to move snow, that are from other parts of the country, or maybe just another country in general, we're going to take this and run it out in the field out there. And then you got to be mindful of where it's going to melt. You don't want it pushing on one end of your yard and then uphill, and then it's melting across your yard all spring. That just makes your yard all wet. So all kinds of little things to think about. Isn't that nice? You don't have to dump the bucket or anything like that. You just push it in a pile and lift the loader and off you go. It's the only way to move snow. So most all of the water in our county, in our area, goes northwest. So it goes towards Canada, it goes northwest towards the Red River. But anyway, our yard is kind of on a hill. I guess there's not a lot of hills in this area, but we're on a ridge. And all of our yard slopes to the south. Grandpa put a ditch in right here on this end. It curves around and then heads back to the woods and kind of dumps off the ridge there. So that's why I'm pushing this snow here this way. On top of that, it kind of acts as a snow fence for Grandma, so when she gets a south wind, it doesn't just blow right into her yard. It has to go up over this hill, so maybe takes down some of her visibility from being able to see out in the field. But if I sound kind of plugged up, it's because I got a head cold. So if I sound stupider than I usually do, that's why. Sound dumber than I usually do. is we got some ice before we got all this snow. So I got ice underneath, so it gets to be hard to get traction a little bit. I'm gonna keep on cleaning here about another, well, I'd probably say an hour worth of pushing. Once I get that done, we'll go put the bale spear on and we'll go feed them heifers, Eli's heifers. I'll be back. Oh, I forgot to bring you with when I fed hay, dang it. Anyway, the yard's all cleaned up. I think Kylie and I are gonna do some Christmas shopping tomorrow, and the guys are gonna do some hauling. Gonna go load some corn for the guys, send them down the road, try to keep the wheels turning. Well, we gotta get up on the walkway here.
Well, what are you thinking? Another truck down. Actually, it's the same one. We're taking it for a little ride. See where we end up. We're here at Hanson's Trucking, and Tommy and the boys, they tried their best hand at it, and kind of got it narrowed down, but it's bigger and deeper than any of us would like to admit. So we're having an issue. We got a transmission issue.
Well, it doesn't want to clear its code.
There's two fuses on here we've been pulling that powers the tranny. Anyway, we're trying to fool this tranny right now. We can't get the truck to air up unless we get it running. And with this fault, the transmission doesn't know what gear it's in. So we're pulling it to all works, and Mark's at the wheel, and Greg lent us a truck and his tow hook. So that's what we're doing on this beautiful morning. Actually, it's been all day. It's just about 4 o'clock.
Well, Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful New Year, wonderful Christmas with the family and everything. And I also hope you guys enjoyed the last couple videos at our expense. Looking like complete doofuses. But if you can't have a little fun and laugh at yourself, then you're just being way too serious about life. So I guess it's too short to take it too serious. Something like that. Anyway, starting off a new year here. The videoing or the content has definitely been a little slow in the last couple weeks with the holidays and, you know, only having a few days here and there. And then we're also hauling, trying to get grain hauled in, and that's a challenge lately too with the weather the way it's been. Either it's snowing or misting, or I mean even just a mist. The guys had to turn around the other day. It was freezing up their windshields. They couldn't thaw them out fast enough. I mean, it was just perfect temperature for that. So anyway, Ivan has been in here pretty religiously. Every day he comes, I guess. He's been working on the headers, getting them all tore down, making sure they're in tip-top shape for next year. He drains all the oil and all the gearboxes. He's got a whole list of things that he checks on these machines. He's really good at it. He's been doing it now for 3, maybe 4 years, but 3 for sure. We only had one small issue last year, and that was just a slip clutch that the cogs inside the slip clutch let loose, and it just wouldn't run the chopper. So yeah, checks all the oils, make sure there's no contaminants in them as far as filings or anything like that, and readjusts all the deck plates and cleans everything and flips the chains and flips the sprockets. And on this one here, we put new guides on. We have done the chains like a year or so ago, so they've only been flipped once or twice, but we're not 100% sure when they're shot, but we make sure we rotate stuff, and that way it just wears evenly, and I think we get quite a bit more wear out of everything. So this is kind of halfway put together here. The sprockets were flipped, chains were rotated left to right, so they're flipped. Springs, internals and stuff are cleaned out, so everything works like it's supposed to. It's not adjusted correctly yet, it's just sitting up here. Them sprockets got flipped, and deck plates get readjusted or kind of recalibrated or whatever you want to call it. This one also had new knives put on it, so that way it's ready to go for next year. We will not run anything with dull knives. Once they start rounding off, we just switch them, because it takes way too much power. It just doesn't do as good a job without sharp knives, and you can sharpen them, but they just don't last. They just don't hold that sharp edge like a new knife does. And for the cost and the extra power it takes to run dull knives and stuff, it just absolutely is not worth it. Anyway, there's not a lot to do to these combines since they are only a couple years old now. Just basically go through them and put new chains on like the unload, and we check the belts, retighten everything, check the fluid levels, our normal protocol checklist type stuff. Well, right now I am going to 2 trucks to work on here today. One is that high pressure fuel pump that I had fixed twice already, so technically not fixed. I don't know exactly what happened the second time here now. So the first time we fixed it, I was in Wanaska. We did it on the road, Dane and I did. And then it ran all fall just fine, didn't leak at all. I thought, yeah, we fixed it. And then now this time, this winter now, it started to leak. I took it out again, put new O-rings on it. I thought, well, maybe it was my first time putting it in. I didn't do something quite right, didn't torque something quite right, whatever. So I redid it. It literally only lasted a week. Now it's a mess. I'll show it to you. But I ended up buying a new pump. We're just gonna replace everything. Got new O-rings, new line. Here's the pump itself. The other project we have to do is a brake project. So we're gonna put new shoes on the one trailer. So yeah, we're gonna fix this. I'm gonna put a new battery in you, and we're gonna go take a look at it. All right, well, looks like Ivan or Dane or somebody got it tore apart here. So now we're just going to get it cleaned up and put the shoes back on. Well, the first thing we got to do is we got to get our S-cam readjusted. So make sure that's in the right place. Probably gonna have to put air to it just to make sure it's in the right spot here. Well, let's get started on the brake project here. It's quite simple, actually. It looks potentially more intimidating than it is. Obviously, we got 2 different sizes here. This is the front, this is the back. We also have these little pins that they ride on. That's right here. So we're gonna knock them out, put new ones in since we got them. Gonna need a bigger hammer. If that don't work, probably put a little heat on them. We do live in Minnesota, and this trailer isn't new anymore, so they've probably never been replaced. Well, I thought maybe it would come loose, but I guess not. Okay, plan B. Now we do the next one. We're gonna let that cool down a little bit, and I'm not gonna throw any water on it or nothing like that because it is kind of a cast, so it could break. So I'll let it cool down naturally, and then we're going to pop them rollers in there. I guess they're not really a roller, a pin. Push them pins back in. Well, in the meantime, let's get our shoes ready. And these pins here, they go here. Obviously these are bigger than them. Anyway, these got these little keepers on them. Put that in there, squeeze them together, keeps them from falling out during the install. You got these little guys here, they come new in the kit. They go in right here. Just get the hole lined up, you tap them in, then they just sit in there like so. They don't come out, nothing like that. Now these here, they got these little sliders on here. And then these just sitting there like that. So now on this brake job 101, this is the big spring. That's where it hooks, just like that. Most of you guys that farm or anything like that probably already know how all this goes together, but I'm just here showing the young people and or people that have never seen this before. So just, I guess, tag along and see what you think. But now we got to put this on. These roll kind of. They're gonna go on the S-cam side, which is right here. Okay, so there's your S-cam, and there's your pins. We need to turn this S-cam so this here sits in that cradle right there. These are what they call self-adjusting slack adjusters. You hear it clicking. There. So now we know that's where we want it. Now we gotta flip this bottom one and get this down underneath here and lock it up. There we go. Just like that. She sits in there like so. Only thing we got left are these two springs. Put the top one on first. Now this can be a little tricky. And then you turn it somehow. There we go. So that one's on, and then we got another one to put right here. And then we can put our brake drum on, and then we readjust our slack adjuster. Now before we can readjust our slack adjuster, we got to put our tires on. So that way it holds our drum nice and straight. Putting aluminum rims on, so we got to make sure we put our spacers on. They're just little plastic things. All they do is they separate the aluminum from the steel, because aluminum and steel don't get along. They corrode and or seize to each other. Just a little bit of a pain to put on. Okay, now we just tighten them up. That's it. Now we want to tighten these up. So you tighten them up as far as you can. Then we back it up. You want to back it out a quarter turn. Make sure that goes back in there. And then it should sound like a bell. So that should be good. Let's get started on the...
Oh yeah, run Forrest, run!
Yep. I figured you were doing that.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites. That's not nice. Ooh. Jesus. She's pulling straight as a grizzly. Yeah, don't put that on the bloopers either. Pooping of the mouth, it's terrible.
Okay. Hey, Ivan, put them on. With that mustache,
You know who he'd be?
it'll be just like,
Put on my head.
he'll add 30 years to him right now. Oh, that's awesome. He's 30 years older, just like that.
It's like he's from the 70s.
Yeah, man.
The guy with the moon boots. What movie is that? What's his name?
Napoleon?
Yes!
Have you ever seen that?
Here, I'll
Oh,
look it up.
my tater tots. Oh. Wrecked my tots.
Napoleon, give me some of your tots. No, go find your own.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, he had tater tots in his pocket, and someone went like that and smashed his tater tots in his pocket. Woofda.